as kimuras and wrist locks. Or we separate, and then I bring my feet over, just like so. If Ant sits up, we pull him into a front triangle and we choke him. If the choke isn't there, we can still break the arm. If Ant doesn't sit up, we're here, I separate, I pummel my leg over, and he keeps his head glued to the floor because he's no dummy. He knows the front triangle's there. Well, that's fine. Now I just take my two heels, I pull them into my butt to make sure I control the head and shoulders, and now we're ready to go after the arm. We know there's a number of attacks. I could try to go after kimuras, I could try to go after wrist locks, but the number one attack is going to be the arm bar. I pull his elbow into my hip. Now I thread through, getting the crook of my elbow to his wrist, and I lock a rear naked choke grip around the wrist. I pull his hand across my own chest to put him into a mechanically weak position. Now from here I begin to fall toward the head, and I extend my body. Ant's going to hang on as hard as he can, but eventually he's going to have to release. I lift my elbow as my hand catches the wrist, and then I double up on it. I take his hand back to center, and then I break it toward my armpit, breaking his elbow over my bottom hip. One troubleshoot. Let's go through this. Let's scoot this way, Mr. Collins. The turnout escape, or the hitchhiker escape from the arm bar. When I pull his elbow into this hip, and I get this grip here, elbow deep, and I put on my rear naked choke around his wrist, like I'm trying to choke the wrist, and I pull his hand to my body. As I fall to this side, this is the direction Ant wants me to fall so he can go into his hitchhike escape. If I fall, no, you're gonna go the other way. You're gonna walk his hips away, he's gonna climb to his knees. Walk your hips away, climb to your knees, perfect. And then he can get on top and pull the arm out. So let's talk about the turnout escape a little bit. In order for Ant to hit a turnout escape, let's put your head toward the camera actually. Just from here, Ant is gonna put his thumb toward the floor. He's gonna walk his hips in that direction. Watch how his head has to go right between my butt and his shoulder, just like so. If he keeps going, his head's gonna pass all the way through, go ahead. And he's up and out, good, put yourself back. All the way back, all the way, turn around, thank you. Now here, the act of me using my heels to pull his head and shoulders tight to my hips. Now when Ant goes to hit a turnout, do the same thing, Ant. All the way through. It's very tough for him to go all the way through because he can't pass his head underneath my hips because my heels are taking away all the space. So it's very important that from a 3/4 arm bar, as I'm putting the pressure on, I'm also taking my heels and back heeling. So when Ant tries to go into that turnout escape, his head gets caught. That gives me enough time to bring his arm back to center and start breaking the elbow over my hip bone. Now let's say he does, let's say I screw up and I don't pull the head in and he successfully is able to go into a turnout escape. If your opponent goes belly down, your arm bar should go belly down. If your opponent goes belly down, you go belly down. Turn your belly up arm bar into a belly down arm bar. 3/4 arm bar, please. So from a 3/4 arm bar, I pull his elbow into my hip. I once again take my grip, I start separating. If Ant successfully starts to go belly down, good, perfect. Can we rotate too? Even more. You keep going, perfect. So I'm here, I'm separating, and Ant successfully starts to go belly down. When I see this, don't go to your back. You also go down to your shoulder, stay belly down. He's gonna get up to his knees, and I'm gonna be right here. Back heeling my feet, I'm gonna take my heels, and I'm back heeling them against his head and neck. If he stays here, I'm gonna pull his elbow over my hip, and we'll get the submission right here. Ant doesn't want to stay here though. What Ant wants to do is he wants to tripod up, and he wants to step his legs over my body. 1, 2, and now he can come up, and he's in a bad spot for me, right? He's up and around. So let's look at how we counter that. 3/4 arm bar. Actually, let's rotate. I think we need to rotate on this one before. Back to the wall. So I'm here. I'm once again going to go into my same braking sequence. I separate the hands. He starts to go belly down. As he goes belly down, I also go belly down. I go down to I collapse my shoulder, and I stay facing his feet and facing his hips. Once again, if he stays here and does nothing, I'll break his elbow over my hip here. But nobody's going to do that. They're going to try to hop over my body. Not yet. I know that. So when I'm here and I start to separate this grip, and he's gone belly down, my bottom arm is going to control his arm and wrist. My top arm is going to be high. I'm going to be waiting for him to try to step over on me. Now, when I see Ant try to step over, I'm going to catch the leg, back heel with my feet, and I'm going to pull him right back onto his back. Now from here, I grab the wrist, and we break the wrist. I'm sorry, we break the elbow over our hip bone by pulling down on the wrist. So let me show you guys that sequence one more time. That should be good. Put your feet by the wall. Let's show it all from the beginning. Let's do that. So back control, right here. I'm here. I'm trying to straight jack grip fight, not working. So I go to a Kimura. I lift the elbow off the floor. Ant tries to turn into me. That high elbow makes it hard. My leg coming over the shoulder and locking. Get your hands in. Locking makes it even harder. Now he tries to turn up into me. Now he's got to fight through my legs and the Kimura. I use this grip to put his back down on the floor, and I sit myself up. Now from here, I separate his arms. We know we can go rear triangle and all those great attacks, but for now, we're sticking with the 3/4 arm bar. He reconnects. Nobody wants to have their arm breaking, so he re-grabs. From here, I make sure his head pulls into my butt to avoid the turnout escape. We don't want him to be able to try it. So heels pull in. I pull his elbow to my hip, hooking elbow to wrist, rear naked choke grip, and we fall. Now at this moment, my back heel fails and goes into a turnout, and I also stay belly down. Now from here, I could break him right here, but I also need my left hand ready. My top arm ready. If Ant tries to step over, I'm going to catch. Look at how I'm still back heeling my legs to control the head here. And I'm going to pull Ant's body over my body, just like so. Look at how Ant doesn't even have anything on the floor right now. And I pull him onto his back. I control the hand, break over the hip, and we have our arm bar finish. So that's kind of the long and short of our rear top lock attacks. We know that our opponent's neck is a small target. If our only goal is to choke him, and that's the only thing my opponent has to think about is defend the neck, defend the neck, defend the neck, it's not too difficult for them to do. But now when you start adding pressure, tactical pressure, by distributing your attacks around the length and breadth of their body, and now they have to focus not just on protecting their neck, but they have to focus on protecting other parts of their body too. That's going to be where you're going to catch them slipping, and you're going to get the breakthrough against tough, challenging opponents. Today we attacked the arm with a rear top lock. Some key notes: the main problem out of the rear top lock is the turn-in problem. Two good ways to solve it. Kimura grip, keep that elbow high, and then bring your top leg over their shoulder, crossing your feet. The raised elbow, combined with the closed wedges around that top shoulder, make it very difficult for your opponent to turn into and get on top, and that makes it easy to put their back down on the floor. Once their back is on the floor, we're going to use the Kimura grip and our legs together to separate their arms. And then we have a number of attacks. Pummel the legs below the armpit for rear triangles and all the arm attacks out of the rear triangle. Or pummel the feet over the shoulder for a 3/4 arm bar. Or for a front triangle. If the opponent's head comes up, triangle time. Out of the triangle, we can break the arm in a number of ways, or we can choke them. If their head does not come up, they're smart, they keep their head down, well, now we have a lot of great attacks on that arm. We separate the two hands, and then we can break the elbow, we can break the wrist. If they turn out, we go belly down, we break the elbow belly down. And if they try to step over us, we catch that leg, turn them back over, right back onto their back, and break them when they're on their back. Awesome. Thanks for watching, guys.